In terms of incriminating evidence, at this point, it is not clear he did anything wrong. It is his car, this victim, this decedent, and he obviously knew each other. They had matching tattoos, but I have not seen anything reported in the media that he was responsible or is responsible for her tragic death.
Police leaks are finally explaining why D4vd is still free after Celeste's death, and the details don't point to a simple story. What started as people calling him a cold-blooded killer has shifted into something far more complicated. From her broken home life to the discovery of her body in his Tesla, the case keeps twisting in ways nobody expected. And just when it seemed clear, new sightings of Celeste after she was reported missing changed everything, raising the question of who else might have been involved. So let's start with where all this began. Celeste's former middle school boyfriend talked about Celeste as being kind, but her home life was miserable. Her relationship with her mom was fragile, and she often talked about wanting to escape. Damien remembered her even joking at school about running away. Then one day, she vanished. Damien also said he was shocked when he heard about her relationship with D4d. He thought she seemed happy despite her rough family life, but what came later blindsided him. He admitted he wished he'd had the chance to say goodbye when news broke that she was found dead. Fast forward, on September 8th, Celeste's dismembered body was found inside the trunk of a Tesla registered to D4vd. The car had been parked in Hollywood Hills for weeks before it got towed. LAPD Captain Scott M. Williams confirmed her remains were inside for several weeks before discovery. This alone made people scream for D4vd's arrest. But here's the kicker. Cops didn't arrest him right away because they needed the autopsy to confirm homicide before pressing charges. Legal experts say that's standard procedure. Now here's where it gets weird. A Tesla keycard was found in a gutter near D4vd's Hollywood Hills home. A neighbor discovered it, picked it up with bare hands, contaminating potential fingerprints, and then turned it over to police. Photos posted online show it was right by his property. The big question is, how did cops miss this during earlier searches? Was this planted, overlooked, or just another twist pointing away from him? People also started questioning how Celeste's body stayed in that Tesla without D4d knowing. His car was a 2023 Model Y, which has features that alert the owner if the trunk stays open longer than 10 minutes. Most owners also use the Tesla app, which sends alerts when the car is opened or moved. So if it took time to place Celeste's body inside, wouldn't D4d have gotten an alert? Unless he had notifications turned off. Another possibility, he used a key fob or key card instead of the app, meaning no alerts were triggered. And don't forget about Tesla's Sentry mode, which uses cameras to record when the car senses movement. But the thing is, it's off by default unless you plug in a USB drive. If he didn't have that, there's no footage to prove or clear him. If he did, that evidence could blow this case wide open. Now here's where everything gets really crazy. Months after she was reported missing, Celeste was caught on surveillance footage yelling at neighbors. She accused them of ding-dong ditching her parents' home, shouting insults and even a racial slur.
Right there, I'll tell you where that. See that door right there? Number 2, knock on it. Number 2 right there.
The neighbors said they knew it was her because they'd seen her missing posters. Later, one of their boyfriends went to Celeste's house to apologize, and her dad answered the door, looking completely unfazed. That made neighbors assume she was back home safe. This video now gives police a timeline. Celeste was alive way later than most thought, which begs the question, what really happened after? And this brings us to Celeste's family. She ran away multiple times in 2024. TMZ even obtained liquor store footage from March 19th, showing her walking down the street in a hoodie and white pants at 7 a.m. Her own sister reviewed the tape and confirmed it was her. Now the internet is pointing fingers at the family. One user wrote, "Her living situation needs to be checked. Something isn't right. No one runs away for no reason." Another claimed allegedly that Celeste's sister used to exploit her, which could explain why she kept leaving. Now here's where things take a wild turn. It's not just the family people are pointing fingers at. They are also alleging that Josh Marshall could be involved. Now Marshall isn't just some background figure in D4vd's career. His name has been tied to Celeste's disappearance before. A private investigator named Steve Fisher revealed that Celeste's family had emailed Josh in February 2024 with her official missing persons report. They told him straight up they knew she was staying with D4vd and Josh. Shockingly, the very next day, Celeste showed up back home. That detail alone raised red flags and possibly suggests Marshall knew she was a minor and that she was missing. What's more, the bracelet found on her remains also had the letter M. Some people speculated it could be linked to Josh Marshall, D4vd's manager, whose name also starts with M, and photos even show him wearing a chain with the same letter. Coincidence or clue? That question has lingered ever since. But fast forward to after her death, and Josh suddenly played dumb. On TikTok, he denied everything, saying he had zero knowledge of anything and brushing off the rumors as baseless speculation. He also claimed he never received that email. The way he worded it, short, clipped, and almost legal in tone, only made people more suspicious, as if he'd already gotten advice from a lawyer before speaking out. Meanwhile, critics pointed out how strange it was that Marshall kept such limited contact with D4d online, despite being his manager. And when internet users tied him to vehicles or the Hollywood Hills property connected to the case, Marshall quickly shut it down, saying, "I have no cars registered in my name in California, nor have any of my cars been in that state. Stop creating false narratives and assumptions." But those denials didn't stop the whispers. Neighbors later said they'd seen the Tesla Model Y, central to the case, moved around multiple times over the course of 3 months before it finally ended up abandoned on Bluebird Avenue, where investigators later found it. So why hasn't D4d been arrested? According to legal experts, police can't just grab him based on speculation. They need airtight evidence. The autopsy and toxicology reports have to officially rule Celeste's death a homicide. Plus, if Tesla data, surveillance cameras, or keycard evidence doesn't link directly to him, there's reasonable doubt. Now here's where things get even more suspicious. In 2025, there isn't a single photo of Celeste and D4d together. That silence online makes you wonder why she suddenly disappeared from his media presence and what kind of toll that may have taken on her mental health. Some people believe this wasn't just a coincidence. It looks like he was told to do a much better job at hiding the relationship, especially after all the reckless slip-ups in the past. D4vd himself has even mentioned media training a couple of times, and that really stands out. Honestly, it points to a carefully crafted crisis management plan, likely put in place to protect his image and create reasonable doubt if their connection was ever exposed. That plan may have involved scrubbing his socials of anything showing her, stopping her from using her old profiles, and forcing everyone close to the situation, including Celeste, to sign NDAs with steep consequences. Maybe her online activity and communications were closely monitored. Some even claim a second Celeste, one who was of legal age, was introduced to confuse the story. This decoy, supposedly dressed like the real Celeste, appeared in staged posts and was deliberately tagged to shift attention. And to keep everything under wraps, insiders say those who knew too much were silenced with money, promotions, or other deals. At this point, the only ones who could pull that off are his management. Another thing people are noticing is that a lot of those who first thought D4vd deliberately killed Celeste are starting to rethink that idea. In the beginning, the story painted him as a cold-blooded killer who may have strangled or his underage girlfriend. But when photos surfaced showing Celeste alive at D4vd's August shows in 2025, the tone shifted. Now the theory sounds different. Instead of a violent act, some believe D4d and Celeste were doing and drinking together like they usually did. The speculation is that D4vd may have gotten hold of a laced product that knocked him out, while Celeste went into cardiac arrest. In that moment, things spiraled. D4vd couldn't risk being caught with a missing 13-year-old runaway, and that's when his management allegedly stepped in to handle the situation. The story goes that they tried to erase any direct link between him and Celeste. An arm with his name tattooed on it was cut off. Her body was transported back to Los Angeles, placed in a Tesla, and the rest unfolded the way we've come to know. So the conversation has shifted. People still believe D4vd was involved with minors and that were in the mix. But they're starting to lean toward the idea that Celeste's death wasn't an intentional murder, more like a tragedy that was covered up in the worst possible way. And while some say he doesn't deserve life in prison, there's still a strong feeling that both he and his management should face real consequences. That's why cops leaked that he's still free, because they're chasing other leads. And that's the chilling part. Between everything that has happened, there's a lot of suspects. Honestly, the case feels bigger than D4vd. Maybe he really didn't put her body there. So what do you all think? Is D4d innocent and just caught up in this nightmare, or is he hiding something bigger? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next update, because trust me, more leaks are coming.